in today's world, we are overstimulated. We have highly processed foods, we have Netflix, we have Instagram, we doom scroll, we are highly caffeinated, and we have highly processed foods with lots of sugar and lots of fat, and they give us this bling feeling of dopamine, and that takes control away from us. And here in this video, I want to show you a very easy way that I've been experimenting with, and I have the science to back it up, that gives us back control. And I really love it because it's so simple and it's so easy to use. So let's dive right into it. And as usual, I'm sharing my screen here with you. In today's world, it's not only that we're overstimulated, we're also way more likely to chronically procrastinate things. And that doesn't mean we chronically procrastinate everything, but it can be domain-specific procrastination. Like, I did not procrastinate in my academic journey that much, but I'm way more likely to procrastinate creating online content. And again, it has been 11 or 12 days since I uploaded my last YouTube video, and creating this specific video has just been dragging on. And it's not that I sat down and did so many other things, but I did not get into this flow, into being able to create this video the way I wanted to. So what we do is we chronically procrastinate and we desperately try to avoid boredom. And this is why we have our phones and we doom scroll down the news or down our Instagram, because we want, again, this bling feeling of feeling good, of feeling in charge, of having this novelty feeling. My name is Gwen and I am a chronic procrastinator. I also have a degree in applied neuroscience. Now, we moved to Germany about 1.5 years ago, and I found a notebook from 2017 where I had the two exact same goals that I had set for 2024. And I realized that I had chronically procrastinated on those goals, which is when I started to dive more deeply into the research of why we procrastinated and the underlying mechanisms, which is kind of ironic because my research interest has been goals and how they contribute to our well-being. So let's dive right into the video. So why does our energy feel zapped? So very often we have this overload feeling in our heads because we manage our kids, we manage our jobs, we have a dog, a house, so many things that we're doing. And we have additionally all those things here. We have maybe a new family member, maybe an illness in the family, or our kids change school, or we do a holiday trip, which we did last week. And all of this feeds into this, now where's my cursor? And all of this feeds into this chronic stress cycle. And the chronic stress depletes our cognitive resources, which leads to avoidance behavior, which leads us to seek distraction, which is our Instagram feed or anything that we use, or food. And this leads to a lack of progress because we procrastinate our goals. And this leads to even more chronic stress. And if you would like to have more, all the worksheets that I use here on YouTube, you can go to goalsninja.com/worksheets. You can find a list of the worksheets that I'm using. And I also have this image there if you would like that for reference. So let's first, before we dive into this whole idea of using boredom as a tool, let's look at allostatic load. And allostatic load represents the wear and tear on the body due to chronic stress. And remember, we had chronic stress here. And chronic stress is a key component to this whole allostatic load concept. And this affects our brain neuroplasticity, very specifically the hippocampus, which is also where our working memory is. And this is very crucial for our mood regulation. And if you remember from maybe some of my past videos, mood regulation is key to procrastination, because when we procrastinate, we seek to mood regulate. We try to modify our mood to feel better instead of doing the task that we seek out to do. So Why use boredom? Now, I'm sorry about the science, but I think it's important that we educate ourselves, because science gives us the tools to deal with a lot of those things, our daily problems with something like procrastination, or not feeling good, or feeling tired or overwhelmed, because we have so many internet gurus out there, and especially those A-type males that tell us to just get it done and get our things together and whatever, just go for it, when things are not that simple for most of us. And for me, my problem-solving mechanism in the past years has always been science. What does science say about it? And if I'm to bet my life and my well-being, I prefer to have it, I would prefer to bet it on a big population in a randomized controlled trial, rather than the anecdotal evidence of some superstar athlete or some internet guru that just tells me what his grandmother did to be successful. So, why boredom? Boredom creates this temporary void, and this encourages us to fill it with something productive. So if we sit down and we decide to be bored on purpose, it tricks or it clicks something into our brain which makes us want to do something productive. And so it reduces the tendency to procrastinate. And this is based on those two research studies. And you can find them, I think they're both open source. And again, another thing, why boredom? Boredom creates a seeking state in our brains, and that motivates us to pursue new and different experiences. So this can increase also divergent and creative thinking, because it serves as a trigger for imagination and the exploration of new ideas. And again, this is very crucial if we want to do creative work, if we're building a business, or we want to create art, or we want to do something, or even get into an exercise routine, or really transform our lives. And don't we all want this kind of transformation in our lives? For me, it was building an online business and getting fitter. For you, it might be something very different. It might be training your dog, or clearing out your garage, or learning how to cook. It can be many things, or even pursuing another academic degree. So if we decide to be bored, we trigger this seeking state in our brain, and it makes us want to do things. It makes us wanting to find solutions. And if we're out to look for solutions, that is when we start doing something, we start taking action. And remember this whole idea of using goal-directed actions to make us feel better. And so here we can use this whole idea very strategically to get ourselves to get started, to get into action. Because at least for me, it has often been this very big inner hurdle that prevented me from starting or really getting into a task that is hard for me, such as creating the presentation for this video, because it felt so not perfect, and I want to do it right. I want to give you the best possible information in the best possible way that you can use it to be happy, to attain your goals, to do what you set out to do. So then let's start using boredom as a tool. And this is what I've been doing for the past few days. On my Apple Watch, I put in the upper right corner, you can't see the little icon, but the stopwatch. And I've set it to 3 minutes. And when I notice that I'm just about to procrastinate, or when I notice, oh, I have procrastinated something. So it took me now more than 3 days to work on this presentation. And it's not a big presentation. I would normally whip that up in a few hours, but it took me 3 days because I did not get into this flow state. And I started to clean the kitchen. I had to take the dog out, and then my daughter came home earlier from school than normally. So again, I set the timer for 3 minutes, and then I just sit there, and you can close your eyes or you can keep them open, your choice, and you just be bored, and you deliberately decide to be bored. So you don't plan your to-do list, you don't think about shopping, what you're going to cook tonight, no daydreaming. And an easy way for me is to recall a moment when I was bored to get into this emotional state. And that is just last week, my laptop, I wanted to do something else, and my laptop started updating. I had nothing else to do, and I was just sitting there waiting for my laptop to do the update. And it took a few minutes. And I was sitting there slightly anxious and bored because, well, I was waiting for my laptop to update. And this is the emotion that you're seeking in that moment. So you just sit there for 3 minutes, you set a timer, eyes open or eyes closed, and you just decide to be bored. And you can use this strategically, and I challenge you, do that for a few days and see how it changes something. And as with everything, it takes practice. It might not be the very first time that you get this perfect feeling of boredom, that annoying, nagging feeling. And you can use it before a task that you would typically procrastinate. So for me, when I would sit down to work on this presentation, that's what I did today. I just sat down before I started working, and I deliberately sat there completely motionless, no whipping my feet, no wiggling my fingers, just sitting there motionless and being bored, recalling that feeling when the week before my laptop was updating, I was just waiting for it. And so you can use it also when you know you need a motivational boost, when you feel tired, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel so overloaded that you just want to scroll down your Instagram. And again, just give it a try for maybe a few days, and let's do a 7-day reset. I'm currently planning a 7-day program, a 7-day reset, where we kind of reset our brains in order to deal with this overload, with this chronic stress, to overcome procrastination. And one of the core components of this program will be this whole idea of using boredom as a tool deliberately. So again, I challenge you, instead of scrolling, instead of doing something different, instead of getting chocolate or doing whatever you do when you procrastinate, sit down or stand and be bored deliberately for 3 minutes. And do this for 7 days. Yes, and let's see where it takes you to. Because this is a negative emotion that we try to escape so often, and it's so pervasive in our culture. But boredom is something adaptive. Our brains create this feeling in order to propel us to action. So yes. So, and again, today, sorry, we're in my winter garden, as you call it in German. It's a beautiful sunny day here, and I love sitting here and working here with my cup of coffee. So yeah, so let's do this together. Let's use this whole idea of boredom as something useful, because our brain does not keep things that are not adaptive. So there is a very practical use for boredom. And right here in the beginning, I have a screenshot of a book I'm currently reading, or at least the chapter about boredom, the Oxford Handbook of Evolution and the Emotions, which is really interesting and very insightful, because before that, I never would have given boredom a thought, because, well, it's so boring, right? So let's dive into boredom and let's give it a try together. Let's be bored together for a week, and you can do it once a day. I'm currently aiming for 2 to 3 times a day, where I deliberately seek to be bored, because I want to be able to emotion regulate more. I want to choose the way I feel. I don't want to be at mercy of my brain chemistry. Maybe my sugar levels dipped, or maybe I had my coffee too late, or anything. And I want to be more in control of that because, well, obviously I have goals. I want to build my business. I want to be a better mom. I want to get fitter. I want to master video creation. So there's so many things I want to do. And in order to do them, in order to be able to do them, I need to be more in charge of my emotion regulation. So if you like this video, then oops. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And send me a message, send me an email at gwen@goalsninja.com if you have any questions, if you just would like to have a chat. Find me on any other social media. I would love to chat with you. I also offer currently free 15-minute calls just to get to know each other. And again, I have an academic background, and that is what we do. So if you would like to have a 15-minute chat on my website at goalsninja.com, you can find a link where you can just access my calendar and book a free 15-minute call. So I'm looking forward to meeting you. Chat soon, and bye.